Okay, so yet another addition into the hidden history of the African American warrior. His name was Andrew Jackson Smith. Heard me right? Andrew Jackson Smith. And ladies and gentlemen, he was the last Civil War veteran to get a Medal of Honor. That's right. And for good reason. You see, he was the son of a enslaver and his mother, who was African American. The enslaver was Elijah Smith, who joined the Kentucky Confederate Forces, and he took his boy as a servant, Andrew Jackson Smith. Well, Andrew and another enslaved American ran away. Saw an opportunity, realized it was a civil war, and that's what he did. So they ran some 25 miles until they found a Union encampment, and there they decided to tag along. Did more than that. Actually, he became a servant for Major John Warner of the 41st Illinois Volunteers. And then Abe Lincoln emancipated those who were enslaved, and he couldn't wait to join the military, and he did. He joined the 55th Massachusetts, and was there at Shiloh, to say the least. Actually, I'm sorry, he was at Shiloh before he actually joined. Thank you very much. And that's how it went. He was there in the campaign in Savannah, Georgia. What an incredible campaign. The Union forces lost in Savannah. However, it was one Andrew Jackson Smith who did not allow Old Glory to touch the ground when the color guard was wounded mortally. He grabbed the banner and thereby waved his compatriots to attack. Well, for that, he ultimately got out of the military and subsequently died. But some 137 years later, one William Jefferson Clinton presented his ancestors posthumously with the Medal of Honor. Oh, you want a picture? You want a picture of him? Dapper looking guy. Here he is. We got a picture of him right here. Look at that. See that? Can you see it? That's it. Gray hair, straight face, straight back, dignified. There. All right, folks, speaking of dignified, I saw it last night.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Oh, wow. You went to the movies.
I did. I very rarely go to the movies. I have never gone to see a Marvel movie in the movie.
Never?
No.
Well, you picked a decent one to go first, I think.
Well, I did. Sounds like you're a little low in my headphones here.
Sorry about that. Let me see.
Yeah, all right. I think it was fortuitous, ladies and gentlemen, that I went to Africa. Spent almost a month there before watching this, and it's just very interesting for me that things would work out the way they did. I can tell you I enjoyed the movie.
Cool.
I can tell you I enjoyed the detail.
Yes.
And there's some detail in this movie. I'm not talking about the effects and all that. I am, however, talking about the attire and the composition of the cities what is it, Wakanda?
Wakanda, yes, sir.
I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, when they flew into Wakanda, it almost reminded me of flying into Cape Town. Because you go over Table Mountain and Lion's Head Mountain, and it's very mountainous there as you're getting toward the tip of Africa. And when the plane banked and turned, you go over a mountain and then into the airport, and you see an incredible city. Yeah, with skyscrapers and everything. Now, of course, you didn't have the rails and all. But a very beautiful and very shiny city there in Cape Town. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, it was that way flying into just about every city in Africa. They did not look like an S-hole, I can tell you that. Be it Dakar, be it Nairobi, or for that matter, even Tanzania and Arusha. Just incredible. And so, but I think what the filmmakers did was they captured the ancient construction of some of the higher buildings. you know, as a builder, I was just completely fascinated, and it was believable.
Yes.
You know, some of those that were like 10, 20 stories. But what was even more authentic was how they did the streets. You know, when you think of Mother Africa, you think of just very dark, black soil. Man, it's not like that. I mean, it is a very rich red clay, and it's almost in some cases become powdery. You can get it on literally any and everything. But very rich, mineral full, you could tell. But it's not deep, dark dirt. And another thing, it's not hot, or at least not in the in the daytime. Well, in the nighttime or daytime. You know, when I went into the car, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's January and it's summertime in Africa below the equator, and it was, I mean, it was not hot. I never used an air conditioner. Well, maybe once or twice in the hotel rooms. Well, the plush hotel rooms, and yeah, they do have air conditioning, but for the most part, you got a nice breeze. In most, all of it, from Zimbabwe to Botswana and Namibia. But I arrived in Cape Town, and it was like wind speeds of 40 miles per hour, and you had to have a jacket on, bro. When I went out to Goree Island, you had to have a jacket on.
Wayne Cut.
Oh, absolutely. So, and it's not unusual, ladies and gentlemen, because much of Africa is high. It's on the plateau. The elevation is high, you know. And let me tell you, it snows on Kilimanjaro there in Tanzania, and below Kilimanjaro. Now, I've not had snow in Arusha, as I have understood, but you feel the water, and it's cold. Same is true with Ethiopia. But back to the movie. It made sense to me to see the people adorned in what they had on. Very authentic. When you saw the roads and you saw the dirt and so forth, that is what you see most often. Now, you have interstate highways, no doubt, but not a whole lot of attention to asphalt everywhere or concrete everywhere. And there's a significant amount of concrete there. You know. But as I watched the road and watched the people mingling, it was so reflective of what you now find in Africa. The market concept is alive and well. There's always people walking and moving, and they're in the street, literally.
Rang true for you.
Yeah, and as I saw the vehicle going down, it was just a little small. Looks like they were maybe following some kind of rail system down the middle of the street, and on each side of that little rail that maybe was about 4 feet wide, you had dirt and grass. And that to me let me know that the writers of this understood the importance of the people there being tied to the land.
Definitely, definitely.
Land is everything to the average African. I don't care what country. And they tie everything to it, from the baobab tree to themselves. I mean, you don't have land, you don't have to feel your toes walking through the land. You can just tell. So, look, I was impressed with that more than anything else. Just watching how the writers developed this movie and made it believable that you were in Africa. When you see the incredible trees, and I can't think of the name of the trees, but it's a very wide tree, not the baobab tree, but I don't know what it is, but it's a tree that they use. They come and they sit and they negotiate things. That they're there. I mean, the Fulani still to this day go under the tree of justice as what has been suggested, and they have their discussions. And then, of course, the waterfalls. I had an opportunity to see the deepest waterfall in the world, which of course is Victoria Falls. One of the widest, second widest, is like, just imagine close to 2 miles of waterfall on the Zambezi. That same river has hippopotamus and crocodiles and you name it. And that's the first thing. Second thing, the attire was believable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I'm talking about something I saw. You know, the the headdress, the painting, and even the scarring is very, very prominent there throughout Africa, from one end to the other, that I saw, and with great pride. There's a lot of tribal loyalty. You know, when someone asks, for instance, my guide on Kilimanjaro, he was Tanzanian, but he was Chaga. Chaga is a tribe, and that superseded the boundaries of Tanzania. You know, same with Maasai. I mean, the Maasai, where you're from, I'm Tanzania, but I'm Maasai. And Maasai, extend all the way down to Zimbabwe. I mean, they're nomadic. They go wherever they want. But when you look at the dress, if you were to bring up, I think you brought it up, Ro. There is a piece that you can pull up online called Fulani Women.
Yes.
You owe it to yourself to pull it up on your internet and just see the incredible dignity and beauty of these women, and how they adorn themselves. There's no tattoo. They don't do the tattoo thing, I guess. It might be a little scarring, but mostly pain. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. I thought that plot was good. There was a few areas there that I had some reservations about, but believable.
Yeah. For that type of film.
Yeah, it was believable. Yeah. Believable in the sense that you could actually have, and I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
Have a substance that is that can be used and it can cause some super human strength, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. Once leached into the soil.
I'm glad they didn't. It's called Afro-futuristic, but it really did hold to customs that obviously were centuries old.
Definitely. And that was a huge part of the director and co-writer Ryan Coogler's effort. He wanted to go and spend time in Africa to make it as authentic as possible.
Well, he did a good job. I can tell you that. A lot of the structures and a lot of what you saw there, I could see where Africa was injected. It wasn't a figment of someone's imagination. What's interesting, though, is that because Wakanda, you had an incredible city, but at going in, it still kind of maintained the huts and so forth. Let me just say this, and I'm sorry I move on, folks, but just as in Mississippi, just as outside of New York, you got rural areas, but you don't only have rural areas. You got urban areas. Now, Lagos, Nigeria, is twice the size of Manhattan. I mean, you're talking 28 million people. And not all of them are living in shanties. There was a shanty town there on the Cape Flats that had 1 million people in it. I mean, 10 roofs and so forth. Horrible situation, but extreme poverty, and now it's even worse because they've got a water shortage. However, it's in an urban area, and many of the people who were there were coming to work and do jobs, and so it still is it's a growing city after apartheid. You realize apartheid stopped 23 years ago, 1994. And apartheid was basically, white rule, and basically much of what is similar to what you have in Israel in many cases, as far as I'm concerned, as you get to the Gaza and the refugee situation. So it was delightful. Felt a sense of pride.
Yeah.
My takeaway was one of, just what I figured. Of course, I had gone to Africa, and I've studied. I mean, I certainly is a history buff. So I knew, and I did a DNA on myself. And many of my folks, according to my DNA, were from in and around the Gold Coast, Abidjan, that area, Nigeria, from Senegal down, all in that area there. When you learn things like that about your ancestors, it empowers you.
Yeah.
And when I see and hear from, especially African Americans, who don't want to know, then I say to myself, you'll never tap into your ancestral powers because they're there now. And that's not I'm not talking claws and superhuman strength. It's just, you stop allowing others to define you when you know where you came from, and you know that there were those who came before you that prepared it for you to be here now. And it's an empowering thing. You might, I get called, oh, you're arrogant. Yeah, I am. I have a reason to be. I do. That doesn't mean that I think that I'm better than you. It means that I'm the best me I could be. Yeah, I'm arrogant about that. I haven't begged my way to where I am. And I don't owe, the likes of, I remember the newscaster at a local television say, well, Rip, looks like you're doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good in spite of people like you, I said. And he had such a dumbfounded look on his face. Aren't you glad to be an American? Yeah, I am. In spite of the fact, that my ancestors had to, unlike your ancestors, had to fight to be Americans. We won. Have a lot to be proud about. And I am. So, I felt, if it sounds like I've got a little bit more pep in my step, I do. Feel good about that. It's a good thing. I didn't get into something else. One other thing that I thought was pretty authentic. I don't know if I shared this, but the bald women. One of the things that I did not like about, I think I was in Tanzania. I was with my guy, took me to his home and showed me his family and his house that he had built, and the grave of his grandfather, who was born, ladies and gentlemen, in the late 1800s. He lived to be 113 years old. And had a beautiful little daughter. I really wanted to take a picture of her, but I dare not. She's too beautiful to take a picture. But her head was shaved.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that for the most part that the hair there was, that the hair was close to cropped, or that it was, the hair didn't grow as much. And I don't doubt that maybe that is the case in some situations, but as I found out from her father, she had a beautiful smile, lovely, lovely. Her hair was shaved.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, well, did they take both the daughter, and this girl maybe it was about 6, 7 years old. And I asked him, well, you take your daughter to the barber? Yeah, we take her son. He said, well, I took my son. And they had both the boy had the same haircut. And if you didn't know that she was a girl, you might get confused. Of course, she had a nice little slender face, beautiful, pretty as a button. And I was baffled by that. And I asked him, I said, well, why would you cut your daughter's hair? Well, it's easier to maintain. And that if you're shaking your head.
I wonder if she was okay with that.
Well, and that was my thing. I just thought maybe my heart kind of broke. Her mother had hair. Well, I said her mother had hair. Her mother's she had a headdress on, so I don't know whether she had hair or not.
And did he have a bald head?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's not necessarily bald. It was just very closely cropped, and she even had a line. And I was, I don't know. I just felt bad for her. I felt that maybe she probably would have wanted to have her hair grow. What do you think, Whitlock? How would you feel about that?
I don't know if I would like it.
Well, look at it this way. You didn't
I
like
probably
getting
want my hair.
You didn't like always getting your hair braided and putting barrettes all the time, or
No, I didn't
flat
like
iron.
Well, I can tell you, my
But I
sister,
love my braids.
my sister did not like to have their hair combed. I'm kidding you.
You know,
Flat game was nice.
They couldn't stand having their hair combed.
Yes, that's the worst part, going through it.
He
But
at least has
it
saved
looks
his daughter.
good when it's done.
He at least saved his daughter that.
Well, everybody had to get up and work, as he explained. Everybody had somewhere to go, and you'll find that throughout. I mean, you get up, you don't have time to do a whole lot. You had to hit it. Everybody had chores to do, and primping with your hair is not probably one of the things that they want a little girl to do. And between that and then the hair care products, because they're unfortunately, Whitlock, there are some girls who feel that they've got to do things to their hair. But I was brokenhearted by that.
Yeah.
You know, I gave her some, those stuff. You know, and of course, as I would normally do as a father, grandfather, talked about how beautiful she was, and she had a dress. Of course, that was a telltale sign that she was a little girl. And so, anyway, but as I watched the movie and I saw the bald girls, closely shaved heads, it made sense But as you're driving along the highway coming down from Kilimanjaro and even going down to Botswana, you see that this is something that even older women will maintain. They will keep their hair very, very closely cropped. Now I didn't necessarily see just bald, but it was very close.
Very low.
By the way, I think the bald women were sexy too. And Lupita.
Oh, really?
And Michonne.
I'm just saying.
I said her name was
Okoye.
Yeah. What's her name?
Okoye.
Okoye.
General of the Dora Milaje.
Ooh. Huh.
Yeah.
All right, folks. And once you guys watch it all, once everybody's watched it, then we'll get into some other details here because I think it's worthy of that. It's breaking news here. A 7th grader shot himself inside of Jackson Memorial Middle School.
Yeah, this is in Cleveland, Ohio. Short little clip of a parent of one of those students here just kind of giving an update to the local affiliate.
Daughter that goes here.
Yes, I have an 8th grader here at the middle school.
And what's going on? What do you know?
I was on my way to drop off my 3rd grader at the elementary school, which is right next to the middle school. Saw all the police activity, rolled my window down, spoke to an officer. He told me that middle school was on lockdown, that a student had unfortunately had a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Happened again.
Yeah, this is, but what we know now is just that this was a 7th grader taken to a local hospital. The condition is still unknown. However, the students and faculty have been evacuated to the outside of the school. Live stream is showing that they are still evacuated outside the school right now.
All right, we'll keep you posted. Actually, we're going to be talking about that. We chatted with a woman about a local high school that whereby there was
Middle school.
a middle school, yeah, a boy who was obsessed with guns, and he, as we found out, has been expelled, and she went before the school board. We got a clip of that we're going to do as well. But I understand Michelle Obama has weighed in. Did she do a tweet on this?
Yeah, she tweeted yesterday morning, "Congrats to the entire Black Panther team. Because of you, young people will finally see superheroes that look like them on the big screen. I love this picture, and I know it will inspire people of all backgrounds to dig deep and find the courage to be heroes of their own stories."
One other thing before we pass this up, and I don't think I'm giving away anything. There's something to be said for the highlight of families in this movie.
Yes.
And the structure there, and you find that throughout Africa. It's like this: first is family, then it's land, in ranks of importance. Family, land, and I think in many cases here in America we've gotten away from that. And I don't know how we did, but we did. And I think with that in mind, we have blurred the lines for African American boys, and boys in total, but especially African American boys, with a rite of passage. There seems to be no expectation, of a son to actually earn and become, build upon the legacy of his family, his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, and so forth. And it's just, that seems to be a lack of embrace of that in total. And that's a day for another show. But I think this movie really, really spoke to that, bro. Family was very, very important, and not just a royal family.
Yes, exactly.
But it was, you could tell that there is this commitment to passing on not only wisdom but strength and so forth. So there you have it. All right, folks, let's get to it. 228-896-9455. Nationally, more breaking news. Mueller has now released charges, the United States of America versus Alan Van der Swan.
Son-in-law of one of those oligarchs.
Is it?
Being looked at, yep.
On November 3rd, 2017, the defendant, Alexander Van der Swan, did willfully and knowingly make material false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements and representations in a matter within the jurisdiction of the executive branch of government of the United States. To wit, the defendant falsely stated and represented to the special counsel's office, including special agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Washington, D.C., in the course of answering questions concerning his work as an attorney employed by a law firm engaged in 2012 by the Ukraine Ministry of Justice to prepare a report on the trial of Yulia Tymoshenko. Well, and so he lied about it. He did not know why the email between him and person A, blah, 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 blah. Now, I want you to go back to this person A, person B situation, folks, because the dossier is starting to come real. In about September 20th, 2016, he spoke with both Gates and Parson. Now, Rick Gates is Manafort's right-hand guy and a compadre of one Donald John. He deleted and otherwise did not produce emails sought by the special counsel's office. That's pretty bad. Let me tell you what is happening now. What you have is a methodical prosecutor. I like good police work, brother. I really do, folks. And those of you who are in law enforcement know that, who know me. You know, going through and coming up and getting it right, starting, you know, with a blank sheet on everything, and then putting on that sheet what is credible in the way of evidence. Notice I didn't say what's right. I didn't say what's wrong. I didn't say what's accurate. What is credible? A jury decides. A jury decides. Guilt and innocence. But if there's credible evidence, then a good police officer, a good policeman, a prosecutor will not ignore that. And that's exactly what Donald John Trumpsters want you to do. Just ignore it. Oh, no. He didn't really mean it when he said he knew Putin or didn't know Putin. That wasn't very. I mean, it's not like he said anything wrong.
I have no relationship with Putin. I do have a relationship with him. I have no relationship with him. He has said nice things about me over the years. I remember years ago, he said something many years ago. He said very nice things about me, but I have no relationship with him. When I went to Russia with the Miss Universe pageant, he contacted me and was so nice. I have no relationship with Putin. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently, and I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer. I have never spoken to him on the phone, no.
Well, which is it? Well, I know. I guess if you're a Trumpster, then you didn't hear what you just heard. What he was saying was...
Yeah, no, you didn't
what he said was...
Thank you for correcting your dialogue.
I'm sorry. I changed it. Well, what he said was...
What he said,
this is what he meant.
What he meant was, obviously, that the relationship was not actually a relationship. I mean,
well, how do you define a relationship?
Do you know what a relationship is? Do you have relationships?
Yeah.
Do you have pets? Do you have dogs and cats? So you know what a relationship is.
Yeah, I do.
Well, he's not trying to define the term relationship. He's saying he can't remember whether or not
you do that too well.
That he had a relationship or not.
You know, come on, you guys got to listen to the buffoonery that you put yourself through with just trying to explain to this guy. Now I
That's true, but I haven't listened to you.
Look, I'm just going to tell you. Then you look. Now I understand this guy's at the bottom of the ranks of all the presidents. Really?
Where did you expect him to fall?
What, it's 44?
It should be 47. Because the next two will be better.
Going to go down as the worst, I can tell you. And folks, by the way, I don't say that with great glee. I mean, I'm saying I'm being sarcastic, but if the president fails, trust me, the country fails. I tie the two together. You don't have a country with you don't have the people. And when you are the champion of the people and you are failing, it's not going to bode well for the rest of us. 228-896-9455. A lot to cover, short period of time. We've got some. We're going to chat with a lady went before the school board here very shortly. I want to go to the phones. Where are we? Big Chief. Good morning.
Hey, real thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
Hey, I knew that was a wonderful experience going to Africa, man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
You really should go. That should be on your bucket list, Big Chief. You will come back with a very strong sense of humanity.
well, actually, we had me and a couple of friends that they invited me to go to Brazil, and I didn't know it was a couple of hours from Africa.
What was that? Go to where?
Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. Oh yeah.
Well, I had to cancel because I don't fly. I'm like this is
Really?
You got to knock me out to get me on the plane.
Really? So you afraid of heights? What was that?
Oh yeah. I'm like a little boy with a candy.
Really?
You can get anything out of me. When it comes to a plane or height, I can't do it.
Really? So you don't climb ladders, don't get on the roof?
Well, when I was a little boy, I did, but for the plane ride, I was in Miami on a plane. I was screaming like a little girl.
Were you really? Big Chief, I'm gonna call you back.
I had to go to the pilot and ask all kinds of questions. Hug him and say, "We're gonna be all right." And people were just laughing. My wife said, "It's your me and get back here."
Well, brother, you're in for a long ride to Africa. I appreciate you calling, Big Chief. I need to reach back out to you. There's some simple cures. Well, not a cure, but treatments for that. Hang tight, folks. Quick break. We'll be back.
The Jackson Advocate